Today I'm going to teach you how to metal detect underwater. I'm going to show you 4 different styles how you can find some treasure under the water. Welcome to True Vikings. If you're new to the channel, my name is Joel and this is the first tip that how you can find some treasure under the water. This method number 1 is one of my favorites. You don't need an underwater metal detector. I use the Minelab Equinox 800, which is an underwater metal detector, but for this method you only need that you can put your metal detector coil underwater, and then you will need an underwater pinpointer. I use the Garrett Pro Pointer AT. For this method you can't go so deep underwater, but it's perfect for beaches that are shallow. So you will just walk on the beach until you find a signal. Now I have one signal here. I will use my metal detector to pinpoint, and then I will turn on my Pro Pointer. I will put the metal detector on my knee that the casing doesn't go underwater, and then I will use my pinpointer to locate the target and use my hands to catch it. And here I have a Yksi Markka Finnish coin from 1973. I think these are 30% silver, so that's a great find actually from the beach. So this is method number 1. This is one of my favorite methods. This is pretty fast. Sometimes on some beaches this is even faster than with the scoop. But let's jump into my all-time favorite underwater metal detecting method: snorkeling. My favorite metal detecting method is of course snorkeling. That is the method number 2. This is the gear that I use for snorkeling underwater and metal detecting. I have my Minelab Equinox 800, I have my pinpointer here, and I have my treasure box or trash box that is just hanging here, and then of course I have my snorkels on, my headphones, and then my treasure hat. And then of course, because I'm mostly metal detecting in Finland, I have the wetsuit. This is Elios Sub wetsuit. This is warm, custom made, but if you're metal detecting in a warmer place, you probably will not need this. I have some boots that I don't step on glass. This is the gear I use, and this is a great setup for me. What kind of setup do you use? Let me know in the comments. With this method you can go around to this depth. I would say, what would I guess, 1 meter depth. So this is a little bit more effective method than just using your Pro Pointer, and I love this. This is so much fun with the snorkel. I usually shorten my metal detector shaft to short version, something like this. Then I can use the metal detector underwater more easily when it's short. When I find the target there in the water, if I can't see the target, I take out my pinpointer and find the target with my hand and pick it up. I have found some really good stuff with this snorkel metal detector combination, and it's my favorite method to find some treasure underwater. But if you want to go even deeper than 1 meter, then you have to take up the scoop. And from here, let's jump to method number 3. Alright, the method number 3 is the scoop. This is probably the most famous or most popular method that you can do metal detecting underwater. This method is good. You can go a little bit deeper than with snorkeling. You can actually go until your head right here. Then it gets a bit tough after that. This is one of the best methods how you can find some really good stuff, because usually people drop items when they're in the water in about this depth, when they have their fingers and jewelry there in the water, and they splash around and they drop their jewelry. So scoop is really effective for this. If you want to metal detect underwater with the scoop, you will of course need the scoop. This is around, I don't know, there's so many different prices and qualities. This is around $100 on Amazon, or was it eBay? I bought this probably 5 years ago. For this method, you don't actually need an underwater metal detector. If you are able to put the coil under the water, then it's so fine, but you will not get as deep for that. With the Minelab Equinox 800, you can put the coil under the water, so you will get deeper. In those cases, I recommend headphones, because if you put this casing under the water, you will not hear any sounds. So these underwater headphones are great. I use the COS underwater metal detector headphones. For treasures or trash, I use this kind of basic method. I have one of these plastic boxes that you can unscrew like this. I have drilled holes into this that the water just drips away. I have some kind of small rope that I can attach this box on my metal detector. So this is the method I use. There are other methods, but I actually like this. I have some trash here right now, but this is effective method. You will not drop your treasures or trash from the water. What is your method to take up the treasures when you are underwater metal detecting? Let me know in the comments. I would love to know, because this is one thing that I just came up with myself. The tactic of using your scoop is this. You will walk until you find a target. Now I found one here. I will pinpoint, then I know that the target is somewhere there under my coil. I will go down with my scoop, push it into the sand. The scoop is sometimes bad in some beaches that are rocky. This is a pretty rocky beach, but in some sandy beaches it's amazing. But let's try. And then you take up the scoop. You can check if the target is still down there. In this case it wasn't, so the target has to be in the scoop. You can just shake off the sand from the scoop and check what we have in the scoop here. And here we have a beautiful, I think it's copper ring. That's nice, that's really nice. So that is one way of finding treasure also underwater. My points from the scoop, this is a pretty heavy one, but it's sturdy. This will, you can throw around, hit rocks with it, you can do anything. So this is perfect, but it gets a bit heavy on your hands. So one of my favorite tactics are when you're digging, you can use your leg to lift the scoop right like this, and it's much easier for your hands, and then you can just pick up all that gold and silver treasure. If you like those kinds of tips, hit that like. With this scoop method you can go about until your head, then it gets too tough. So if you want to go deeper, you have to do method number 4. Method number 4 is if you want to go even deeper, and that is of course diving. You will need diving gear. I don't have any of my own, so I can show you how it looks like, but the possibilities are endless with diving gear. You can go deeper, as deep as you have courage to dive, and there are a lot of treasures to be found with diving. Then there's another method that you can go to around 2 meters depth. I haven't tried it for myself. That is the Blue Nemo, I think it's called. It's just like a tube going to the surface, and I have seen a lot of people using it nowadays. Would like to try it, but I haven't. Those are all the tips that I have for you right now. I hope you learned something, and if you did, hit that like and subscribe and the bell if you want to stay updated of our metal detecting adventures around the world, and see you in the next one.